It seems today that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV. Where are those good old-fashioned values on which we used to rely? So, I was unfortunately exposed to Twitter this week, and you get to hear about it. So, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I left like a year or two ago because it's fucking awful. I don't remember which specific thing that broke it for me, but there's been a lot of reasons. Definitely the moment that Elon Musk got it, it was a reason to just flee the platform altogether and go to Blue Sky, or maybe just delete all your social media and try to have a healthy life instead of doing any of these things. But a lot of the furry fandom is on these spaces. I'm in a lot of furry discords, and somebody linked a tweet in the chat and embedded it, and I got to see just a face full of this nasty ass website and what it does to people. So there is a content creator named Max Fluffy. They're on YouTube, they're on Twitter, they're on Twitch and so on. They're one of those like hybrid influencer types that's got like, here's all my selfies and photos I do and photo shoots, and here's all of my little skits I do for short form social media, and here's my long form Twitch streams, and here's my specialized YouTube videos, and they're kind of like on every platform at once. So I don't really know what their defining thing is. I don't watch their content. I don't really know who they are that much. And so this video is somewhat of a defense of them in a specific context, but is not an endorsement of them as a general person, because I don't actually know them. I have to say that because whenever I say anything about anybody, people are like, wow, you're best friends with that person? Now I'm going to come harass you next time they do anything that pisses people off. And I'm like, I don't know that person. Leave me alone. Ugh. But something that Max did is that they posted this little skit where supposedly in the thing, like somebody taps them on the shoulder and then they turn around and, oh, the person's so much taller than them. And then they crouch and do a little miming of like being ready to blow the dude basically, and then they recover from that, and it's like, oh, the joke was like, haha, muscle memory took over, I'm so gay and horny, and it's like, it's fine, it's like a sort of generic joke, but it's like it takes some work to like frame the shot and act it out and all that. Like it's a bit of just, it's harmless fun that people do on a regular basis, and this one got fucking brigaded. So my exposure to this was that there was somebody who was quote tweeting it, and they said, every poppy fur is like this, different shade of fur, same porn jokes, and it's got like 1,000 likes and shares on it, and I'm like, really? We're this mad about a random harmless sex joke that's like safe for work territory nonsense that's on just people fucking around on social media? This is what we're going to get mad about? And it's not the fact that somebody had the take. It's the fact that there was so much support for it. Like, thinking about those many people being people is just very upsetting to me. And I went through the quote tweets for the video, and there was just brigaded over and over again. It's like, furries have one joke, and it's always sex. Furries have one joke. It's all that anyone ever talks about. Get a personality stuff. And I'm like, this is deeply shitty behavior. I've been wanting to make a video about this for a while. There's two specific things. Like, one, the furries have one joke idea, which is bullshit nonsense. Like, people have a billion different jokes. People have whole ass personalities. But it's also, people will take one thing and notice you doing it a few times, and they'll be like, wow, you make that your whole personality? Like, there's a furry that is known for walking around in his fursuit where he has his head on, but then the torso is unzipped and just sort of dangling around. So he's basically just wearing the legs of his fursuit, and he's got all of his abs out. And people get so irrationally angry about this. Like, I have seen him get dragged on social media again and again for having his abs out in social media posts. I've been in groups of people at furry conventions where people look at this guy and like, wow, way to make abs your whole personality. And it's like, I don't know, man. Is that his whole personality? Have you ever walked up to him and like talked to him for a second? Like, I'd have to give it to you if you walked up to him and introduced yourself, and then he was just like, abs, 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 like a Pokemon. Like, that would, in fact, be his entire personality at that point, which would be a surprise. But the rest of his feed is like him going on vacations around the world with his boyfriend and like going on gondolas and shit. I'm like, I don't know. It feels like he has like a whole lived experience. And he also just likes to express himself with his abs, and that's his choice, which isn't that weird considering how many people have like hyper muscle, super idealized, crazy, indulgent personas. Like the idea that a person might do that with their real body sometimes at furry conventions in a very specific social context just doesn't seem that weird to me. And like in a similar way with Max Fluffy, it takes 5 seconds to take this person that I don't even know and immediately have a more complex image of what this person is like outside of a handful of shorts where they make horny jokes. Like scroll their social media for 2 seconds, and you're like, oh, here's a video of them playing ukulele and singing beautifully.
Where are the tops go, baby? It's so wrong. Where are the plans we made for two? The fucking cable. If happy ever after did exist.
Hop on their Twitch and you see that their Twitch is full of multi-hour like cooking streams.
Yo, Jen, wouldn't it be kinda banger to add roasted onions to the... Oh, Jen, what do you think if I add roasted onions to the gnocchi? Kinda banger. Kinda banger, big W, chat, big W.
So this is a person who can sing this beautifully and can go and like maintain a Twitch audience and keep them entertained while doing an actual recipe and being able to film that, read chat, keep track of what's happening, not fuck up the cooking, existing in all the space, while wearing a fursuit head, which is like blinding yourself. It's like this person is an extremely talented, they're a multi-talented person that also is likable in a way that makes people watch their videos. I get it immediately, even if I don't watch any of their stuff and probably still won't. It's like, it's not that complicated, and it's also, notably, all this other shit is not sex jokes. Let's look at all this other shit that they're doing. So it's like, what the fuck is this? What is all this support for the idea that this is all that a poppy fur is and so on? It's just always the sex jokes and that's all they do. I'm like, that's homophobic. I don't know what to tell you. But if you take somebody's lived experience and all their brand and all the stuff they do and all the ways that they express themselves, and you reduce that to just be like, all you do is sex, blah, 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 that's homophobia. Even if you're gay yourself, that's a homophobic sentiment. That's a really shitty thing to do to another person. But it's also just like, I feel insane because I'm like, have we forgotten what furry is? It's us expressing a tiny facet of ourselves. Like, we are all people who have to exist in our day-to-day lives. We're going to school, we're working at the gas station, we're commuting 3 hours a day, we're dealing with interpersonal drama with our family and roommates and so on. We have bills, we have medical concerns, and then we hop on our funny little Twitter account where we play a funny little animal and we're like, haha, I like penis. Like, we should know that about literally every type of person in the world, that everyone when they go online is like kind of like slicing up a little person a piece of themselves and be like your aunt that always posts like landscape photography on Facebook or whatever. It's like, that's just like, that's the part of her that she wants to focus on this social media account. And that should be obvious for everyone, but it especially should be obvious for furries, where you are specifically going in dog mode. You're like, I'm going to be a tiger. I'm going to be a giant muscle tiger dragon hybrid with a fat cock, and I'm going to commission vor art or whatever. Like, that's an extremely segmented part of their personality. So they might, call me crazy, express very specific ideas in a somewhat repetitive way in that specific piece of themselves, because that's their outlet, and that's like the whole point of all this. So like, shaming people for their self-expression and their outlet is just deeply shitty behavior. And so what I hate about this post isn't the fact that the person themselves made it. I hate that guy for doing that, but there's always gonna be shitty takes. But then there being support for this is just a bad sign. And maybe some of it's the fact that Twitter just makes people shitty people, and everyone that's still on Twitter is a shitty person, including you. That's just, you're on it because you love the drama. There's the number of people that went to Blue Sky and then they were like, this doesn't make me angry enough, and then went right back to Twitter to be angry all the time for entertainment. That's a bad review of your personality, honestly. Whoops. It's a bad sign. right when I'm talking about not reducing people. It's funny. Like, I feel crazy having to say this, but like, we still live in a homophobic society, a transphobic society, a biphobic society, an asophobic society. If you have any kind of queer identity, you are constantly, unless you're very lucky and in a very safe position and also have a very loud personality, you're almost always certainly segmenting yourself and quieting down parts of yourself, if not fully in the closet about those parts of yourself. And so in your daily life, you're a muted, less colorful version of yourself in a lot of your interactions at your job, with your family, whatever the friction points are. And this stresses people out. It's genuinely like psychologically harmful to have to close off parts of yourself in your daily life. And so when these people go on their fluffy Sparkle Dog account on their social media at the end of a workday, or maybe even during their workday, they're just sitting there on the toilet during their break and just like, ha 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 ha, sheath, ha ha ha. And then they're like, fuck, I gotta go back to working at Best Buy now. Like, let them fucking have their outlet, you dickhead. What the fuck are we doing shaming people for their self-expression on their personal social media profiles where they play their cartoon animal selves? Just mute people if you don't like them. I am so tired of this bitch-eating crackers approach that people have where they just get so resentful of certain individual other furries or certain content creators just for like choosing to have a personality that they don't particularly vibe with, or having an art style they don't love, or kinks that they don't like, or just making jokes they don't appreciate, and so on. Like, I don't think that's funny. All right, go away. It's a whole ass internet. Fuck off. It's not that hard. Why don't people block people? Everyone needs to block everyone more. Like, there's a really weird thing where, like, especially with certain kinds of Zoomers, people got the idea that like blocking people is like an aggressive thing. Like it's like a thing that happens in a fight. The number of times I'll see like a Zoomer be like, hey, this person's blocking me and I haven't even interacted with them. I'm like, yeah, because we're all in the same fucking square. We all share the same website. We see people without interacting with them. And then we're like, and I'll do it all the time. I'll be like, that's a shitty take. That guy sucks. Don't like that guy. Nope, don't want to see that anymore. And I block them. We didn't get in a fight. We didn't even talk to each other. I'm, if anything, preempting that. I mean, like, wow, that person, annoying personality, don't want to interact with that. Goodbye forever. And I'm like avoiding the future scene where I'd have the misfortune of interacting with this person in the future. It's a great idea. Block tons of people. Like, there's some part of my brain when I see that somebody's blocked me where I'm like, I wonder why. And it's kind of a bummer for a second. And then I move on with my life because everyone should block more people if they find them annoying. You can just excise people from the version of the internet that you're dealing with, because the whole point of being able to be the funny little hyena and so on is just to like actually have an outlet that's safe. Like, you need to feel safe. You need to feel safe and welcome expressing yourself for this whole thing to work. And so anyone that gets in the way of that, whether they're specifically policing your behavior in weird, toxic, intrusive ways, or you just find them annoying for any reason, fucking Hammer of Dawn, you just point the laser at them and it comes down and they're fucking obliterated from your perspective. It's like you literally killed them with a laser. But what got me is that this Max Fluffy post got brigaded by so many people that are shaming them for expressing themselves in this way and for having this kind of joke. And I looked at their account later and this post was gone. So the video is gone. The quote retweet that's dunking on it, that got all that support, it's now quoting a missing post. And I see a post from Max Fluffy that said, people are so evil in here lately. What the hell? It's like... That's sad. Like, sure, big content creator, big audience and whatnot, it's not gonna fucking end him, but like, that sucks that somebody would be like, people are just being weirdly cruel to me, and I took down this video that some people enjoyed, but other people are like being cruel at me, and the only way to stop the abuse that's coming at me is to just take the entire video down so they don't have a thing, because like the thing that became the nexus point of weird haters just has to go away. I just delete that and admit defeat so I can stop having a notification feed full of people trashing me. It also puts people like him in a really weird position because like a bunch of us are expressing ourselves and trying to just function and be healthy and happy in our daily lives, and that we have a slice of our personality that we express through animal mode on the internet. But in their case, they're a content creator. They are an influencer, or they have a big audience, or whatever the fuck we're going to call it. So like they're the lightning rod, the focusing lens for a bunch of people that are all going through this. We're all in different stages of our lives. We're all going through different shit, and we value different things, and we need these different outlets. And so like when somebody's popular in that space, they're going to be the greatest common denominator of that stuff, which is a bit basic. It can be a bit boring. It can be a little repetitive as far as like the joke style goes. I'm sorry, it's not the craziest like niche humor in the world, but like that person serves a purpose, whether you find them basic or not in their joke style or whatever. Like they are serving the purpose of what everyone is looking for in that space. There's a bunch of people going through their own shit, and they want a place where they can see content that affirms their identity, affirms their behavior. They want that camaraderie of seeing somebody else existing in the space and being happy and creative and doing dick jokes. Sure. Specifically as a man, because society is full of a billion different, I don't know, a billion what? What am I talking about? Society is full of straight people, and they're so fucking straight. They constantly reaffirm their straightness. They constantly sort of like gatekeep around their straightness. They enforce their straightness around them. And for straight people, their straightness is so assumed and default that it's invisible to them. They don't see it, and so they don't even realize how often they're being so goddamn straight, and how often sexual stuff comes up in that space and so on, because it's just like the default form of expression. Whereas like every time that someone like me is doing anything where they're openly queer and so on, and is expressing that to an audience, we're doing that for that audience and also for ourselves on some level. But like, it's brave every time that happens. I know it sounds really fucking self-congratulatory right now, but like, I made that video about heteronormativity and dating, and I had to ban like 20 people for just being openly homophobic and hateful towards me. And every time I make a content like this, I'm afraid to do so. Like, I just rambled on about that fucking Aaron Hansen thing for like an hour last time, and I just off the cuff just went. But whenever I talk about gay stuff, I have to like work myself up to it and like be like, if we're going to really do this, am I going to say it right? And partly it's because I don't want to say the wrong things and piss off anybody in the queer spectrum of everybody and so on. But also because no matter what I do, I am always the bad guy, and I'm always going to have people trashing me and calling me a pedophile for saying anything. There was a person in my comment section for the fucking Claire Obscure video where he was losing an argument basically because he had dumb takes. And I was like, hey, so your argument kind of sucks because you basically agree with me as a concession and the basic of the entire thing. Like, it doesn't work. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see all the pedophile branding on this channel. I don't actually care what you think. I'm like, okay. So he quit the argument based on the tiniest bit of pushback by calling me a pedophile because of the furry stuff. That's what we get to deal with. There's always queer phobia coming our way. Every interaction is just always has the chance of cruelty coming at me, and every video I make on this topic guarantees it. There's like a 20% extra tax to the duration that it takes to make every queer video essay script I ever deal with, because I'm always anticipating the weird amount of hate and cruelty that's going to come my way every time I make anything. It fucking sucks. And so, like, can we not tear down our own for being queer representation in the stuff? Like, I'm sorry if it's not your favorite concept of the coolest, smartest, like, thought leader. It's really weird to try to treat a random person that we can talk about that. It's really weird to be like, that person has a cute fursuit and is kind of popular for that. They make funny little cooking videos. Why aren't they George Carlin? Why aren't they a thought leader? It's like, I'm sorry that not everyone's the fucking brand ambassador for our entire fucking fandom and is like a perfect intellectual and the coolest person and everything. Sometimes they're just going to be a little basic. It's fine. But like the fact that like the people that actually go through with making this content that serves a good purpose for a lot of people, like they're kind of harming themselves in the process. Like, they might benefit financially or from attention and so on, but they get a lot of negative attention from a lot of people that are really cruel to people like us. And so can we just not also do it? It just seems like a really basic thing to do, but like, it happens every time. Think about the time that somebody was like, if you came out because of Ad Astra, you're weak. And I'm like, that's a really weird, cruel response to a video essay I made. Like, why would you do that? And why would anyone support that insane take? What are we doing? If you don't think that popular furries are making the right kind of art, be they visual novel writers or digital artists or YouTubers and so on, go make better art. You can do it. That's the whole point of being in a creative fandom. But if something's popular, it's probably serving a specific purpose for a lot of people, and it's just generally irresponsible to shit on that preemptively just because it's not your vibe. Like, that's damaging to people. Not to mention just the specific person that you're saying it to, because when you quote retweet somebody, no matter what level of popularity they have or whatever, you are just saying it directly to them, and that's a bizarre, cruel interaction that got really, really, really normalized over the last decade, and people just don't think about it anymore. Like, I genuinely do not quote tweet anybody on any platform unless it's like to signal boost it or to add to the conversation or to support it in some way. I never do it to dunk, because that's an insane interaction to do to another human being, and if you do it, you're kind of just a bad person for being used to that interaction. Like, insane behavior. But anyway, as I said, I block a lot of people, so when I saw this tweet, I'm like, fucking, my first reaction was like, not my fucking circus, I don't want to deal with this, but that person sucks, so I'm gonna look them up on Blue Sky, and I'm gonna block them on Blue Sky because that's where I actually am. But when I looked them up on Blue Sky, oh my fucking god. First, once again, do not look this person up unless you just want to block them. But like, don't bother them. That's not the point. The point is to not be one of the people that agrees with them, because my whole problem is that people agreed with them. But when I looked them up on Blue Sky, their fucking pinned tweet is insane. Some artists are very boring. They draw the same characters in the same styles and similar 3/4 poses. Nothing new, no perspective, no uniqueness, no goals on improvement, no self-critique, nothing. Soulless art. Many artists, more than ever, make soulless art. Fuck you, man. Like, go fuck yourself. What a douchey thing to say in the furry fandom, a space that encourages people to create, but also what a genuinely unhinged thing to have as your pinned post. That's the introduction to your personality that you want. That's the first thing you want people to learn about you, is that you're an insufferable prick that judges other people's self-expression in a queer fandom about creating things. Fuck off. Never more justified in blocking somebody ever. But their banner is literally the definition of misery. Not figuratively, but literally. It's a screenshot of the definition of misery. That's the guy? That's your fucking king that you want to signal boost the posts of? And be like, ah, yes, this guy has the right takes about the furry fandom. The guy who self-identifies as miserable and it hates everybody's art, basically. Great. Thanks. But then I read his bio, and you know what I see? Oh my god. Center-right, rural cell chud, white, straight, cis male. Furry, but not compatible enough with the rest of the community to feel comfortable in. You know what, buddy? You might be right. Maybe you shouldn't be in this fandom. I couldn't have said it better myself. But I just cannot get over the fact, like, this is what kills me and why the video is ultimately being made. I'm like, this Ouroboros of fucking internalized homophobia of people shitting on other gay people for expressing their gayness and so on in public light, whatever ways, and just kind of having fun with it. This shaming of homosexuality is being fucking spearheaded by a straight guy. You've gotten all the way around on internalized homophobia so hard that you are signal boosting a straight guy shaming gay people for expressing themselves. Fucking look inward. What are you doing? Personally, I'm of the stance that we should not shame people. Generally. Unless they do something actually genuinely harmful. If somebody is harmlessly cringe or harmlessly basic, or they just make jokes you're tired of hearing but aren't actually harmful in any particular way, you just move on. And if you see them too much and you're tired of seeing them, you just block or mute them, and then you can extra move on forever. Ta-da! But publicly shaming people, feeling the need to say things, feeling the need to express your thoughts about this stuff. I don't know, man. Keep it to your private chat with your buds. Like, I have a chat where me and a friend of mine just kind of like share back and forth furry porn that we found that has just insane dialogue. Just the most nonsensical, what the fuck are they talking about? Or why is that guy saying all of that while he's nutting? Or what is the scenario, the continuity of this moment that led this scenario, like, just like, you know, just enjoying the absurdity of a lot of furry art and being like, you know what, man? We just like vent back and forth about it. Be like, what's going on in this piece? I don't understand, and enjoy that and that like humor there, but also know not to express that publicly, because then you're just shaming an artist for making something that they that put a bunch of work into, but that you happen to think is funny because it doesn't make sense on some level or whatever, but like in a way that's not going to play well. So you don't say it publicly. Enjoy it privately. If you think that this or that guy just is kind of annoying, you can say that in your private little chat, but like saying it publicly and shaming them publicly is just insane, weird behavior. And I'm bringing this up not because I'm freaking the biggest world fan of Max Fluffy, who I barely know exists, but because I've seen this pattern of behavior for a lot over the last year in particular, and especially since the meme kind of caught on of furry, of like oftentimes younger, somewhat puritanical furries shaming established furries, like the only joke you always have is always the one joke is always sex, and it's like, fuck off. You came here because of this. Like, I hate to say it too with all the puritanical furries that are themselves gay and whatnot, but like, you got sucked into this fandom because of all the queer expression. People like this that come out and make dumb gay jokes all the time, that's part of why you're here, because you're like, oh wow, people doing the thing that I'm afraid to do on some level. But then you're letting your internalized homophobia that you brought with you shame the people that do the thing in the first place. And the only lesson to be taken from that kind of shame is to be quieter, to be less colorful, and to reduce yourself until the furry fandom isn't. And dab. Are we doing that in 2026? Does it even look good in VR? Can't tell what it looks like because I look away from the camera. Lucky there's a family guy. Lucky there's a man who positively can do all the things that make us laugh and cry.